All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to All You Can Eat Chelsea, episode 248. Got the lads in the building, they're in the headquarters. Before we go through the table and introduce everyone and whatnot, I'd just like to say today, I feel it's going to be a very, very honest and truthful conversation. I feel, because I know that's how I would love to drive it. We'll see how the lads feel, because 2 weeks in a row, there's been a lot of fuckery that's been going on. And I feel like we just need to speak honestly about it. So that's a bit of a heads up for everyone that's watching. Matisse, how you doing, brother?
Being better. Never like to drop points twice in a row like that against those two teams specifically. So yeah, is what it is. I'm not sure what my confidence levels are even for the next game, because I don't know what our team is even looking like at this point. So who's available and who's not. So yeah, it's not good.
It's not good at all, man. As Liam Rosenior said, 4 points set on fire. And I think it could not have said it better than that. But in terms of confidence, I'll just say this much before I go to Alexis. You better win. That's it. You better win. Enough's enough. You must win. And that's all I'll say for now. Alexis, how you doing?
I'm fine, man. I've got another occupation. I'm a firefighter now. I'm going around and putting everyone out of like flames. Everyone's panicking. I'm telling people what you need to hear. 7 wins from the next 11. If we do it, we do it. If we don't, it is what it is.
Excuse me. 7 wins from the next 11. That's what we need.
If we get 7 wins, we definitely get top 4. If we get 6 and maybe 2 draws, then it's like, oh, you know what? We'll squeeze in. 7 wins will 100% do it.
What's the points tally of 7?
Yeah.
7 wins is 21 points. And that will get us, I think, 67 points.
Have we got 7 in 11 in the last 11?
God, no. Oh, wait, have we? Maybe.
I
don't know. But the fixtures, the fixtures are much more difficult. So
much more difficult. Javon, brother, how you doing?
I'm doing well. Doing well. I'm really trying not to think about the lack of concentration in the last game. But I know we'll get into it. I'll save the football for the football. But I'm doing well, brother. Doing well.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. Connor, my man, how you doing?
Good. I'm tired, but I'm good. We're chilling, and we're tired of Chelsea, tired of dropping points. But this run's going to be something. It's going to be something. Whether that's good or bad, we'll see. But it's going to reveal a lot, I think. And I'm excited for that part of it.
I tell you this much: the upcoming run will either have us stressed, gassed, or severely depressed. So we're for a roller coaster of emotion, guys.
It's going to bring something for sure.
Lads, if you don't mind today, is it all right if I kick things off? Like if I say a few things from my heart? And it's not, I don't know how you guys view football, right? Like maybe it's an age thing as I'm getting older and older. I try and relate what I see, not just the football, but how one can sort of operate from an individual standpoint, how some of these footballers on and off the field. I try and see that and try and, match it with how it could be in my profession or in my life. Like, how would I be behaving, right? Because I think when you're a lot younger, all you think about, oh, these guys are footballers. They should be good at football. Like, go out there, just win. Like, do well. And I think that's sometimes too difficult or it's a little bit naive to think that way, because these guys are also human beings outside. And that's how I want to try and clock in. And that's what I want to talk about today initially. Now, when I was a lot younger, right, lads, I was probably schooling time. I was someone who was like, I was quite, I had a bit of brain in me. Like, I was smart, right? I was talented. And I was going through school brilliantly, year 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, whatever. Then I came to Australia, right? Came to Australia, and my final 2 years, year 11 and year 12, I absolutely bombed it. got introduced to girls, got introduced to friends that were too fancy, and all that talent that I once upon a time had, I still had, but I never harnessed that talent anymore. I was out. Exams on the following day, the night before, I'm out partying, right? I'm out with the wrong crowd doing stupid stuff. So off the back of that, I flunked massively. Like my year 12, my HSC, I flunked. My parents, immigrant parents, came to Australia to give me a good life. And then here I am. I didn't even make it to the uni that I wanted to go to. Couldn't make it to the, the course that I wanted to get into. And I flunked. And I had all that talent. Like I had all that talent. I threw it in the bin, right? In the space of 2 years. And then I remember the day when I got my result and I saw my parents like so broken, crying, like, this is why we came to Australia, like, so you can just flunk. And I locked in, lads. From that day when I saw my parents cry, I locked in. That day onwards, it was a mission. I got to be successful. Like I've effed around too much. I have to be successful now. Cut away all the nonsense, all the people that I felt was creating too much noise in my life, cut all of them out. And I locked in, studied, didn't get into uni straight away. So I had to go through the long path, got into college, smashed college, absolutely ripped it apart, and then got into the university that is one of the best ones in Australia. And I made my parents proud. And from there on, I never looked back. From there, I knew what it feels to screw up in life and where that can take you. And I didn't want to feel that ever again. Now, the reason why I'm saying this, lads, how these footballers that we have, this entire season, and not just this season, right? We've seen them in prior seasons as well. I'm just trying to think. You're elite professionals, right? You face so many low moments this season. Drop points here, drop points there, mistakes here, mistakes there, big mistakes. Are you not once looking at yourself and going, fuck this, man. I don't want to feel like this again. I don't want to feel like this. It feels shit. I want to make sure that I drive not just myself, but my teammates and ensure this nonsense doesn't happen over and over and over again. Because for some of them, the talent's there. As I've said, like my talent was there. It's just I was too immature and I did stupid things, which then gave me stupid results. But I corrected myself. Why are some of these footballers that we have fail to correct themselves? They're laughing. They're so jovial. They're uninterested at times. They're unserious. It's not even about lack of talent at times. The talent's there because we've seen them play well. The talent's there. It's just so annoying and frustrating to see, especially the last two games in the Premier League, Leeds and Burnley, who, honest to God, these two teams weren't even in the shop. They weren't even in the game. It was us, and we've gifted them everything. And I'm thinking, how have you gone away from the Leeds game and just replicated that same nonsense again? How could you enjoy doing this to yourself over and over again? Are you not professional level football? What ambition do you have as a person? Do you not want to feel success? Like, for example, Matisse, you've gone through your journey of YouTube. You've seen the highs, the lows, and you know the lows. And you say to yourself every day, I effing don't want to see those lows ever again. Whatever happens, I am going to make sure I never, ever see those lows again. I'm going to hold myself at a high standard. I'm going to work my butt off. Every day when I wake up, I'm going to make sure that I deliver at my best. Some of these players that we have, do they not think like this? Elite level footballing players. Lads, I'll open the door for you guys to have a chat now.
I don't know what the problem is. I'll be honest, because it's the players that actually have some sort of experience or they're of a certain age and they still get sending offs. They still manage to get sent off. They still manage to make these ridiculous errors. You go through the red cards. How many of them are actually necessary? How many red cards are, last man, last 10 minutes, goal saving? It just had to be done. Almost none of them. They're always. I mean, this was in the opposition half. This is a counter press. You're on a yellow card. It's mind blowing to me that they are not able to almost decompartmentalize between the emotional side of the game and what they should be doing logically. Because the amount of red cards they've stacked up, it's just immature at this point. It's just pure immaturity and idiocy. And like I said, it's not even just it's not like Estevals and Gu and the teenagers Hato and these guys are the ones getting sent off. It's actually sometimes the ones that are actually the most experienced in the team. There's something missing in this team in terms of intangibles. There's something missing in this team in terms of intangibles. We have players and we have a team that play really nice football. And I've said it before. This team reminds me of Arsenal under Wenger in the Emirates era. I've said it before. They remind me of that team. The team that play really nice football, but they can't get away from these top 4, top 5 fights. That's all they're good for in the league. They don't have either the strength on the set pieces. They're too weak. They're too fragile. They're too weak-minded because they're clearly not even following instructions if they're meant to mark someone. You look at people that were bringing off the bench to see out this win. 20 years old, 19 years old, 19 years old. Inexperienced, coming off the bench to see out a win. When traditionally, under Mourinho, you'd want to bring on an experienced John Obi Mikel to lock up the shop. Someone that's going to marshal, someone that's going to put things in place, put things in order. That's what you want coming off the bench. I've said it before. At Chelsea Football Club, for the aspirations that this club has, because the fan base, because of what we've witnessed and seen over the last 20 years, in comparison to the types of players that these guys bring in a lot of the time, it doesn't align. There is no time for developing players with 5 minutes to go when we need to win the game, for them to learn and make mistakes. Because that is what it is. We've had, he won't name and blame and shame, but it's either Achimpong or it's Santos. One of them two have made a mistake. It's cost us the game. In the end, even though I think Cole Palmer takes a lot of accountability because he should have scored. He really should have scored one of his chances. He had 3 very good opportunities that he should have taken.
Even against Leeds, Cole Palmer, right?
The
at
Leeds
the end.
can happen, though. The Leeds can happen. Like that. That's, in my opinion, that's a game where we drop points due to 10 minutes of poor execution, right? We had 10 minutes where everything crumbled, and then we had chance after chance. We hit the crossbar, Palmer missed. Those performances can happen. Burnley, we've seen one too many times.
We don't have any bastards in the squad, bro. There's no Rudiger. There's no bastards. There's no like shit houses. Like we have Cucurella. We have
Enzo.
Enzo maybe. But as centre back, the centre back position is too soft. It's too soft. I look at all of our centre back pairings. I think, lovely guy, nice guy. You wouldn't want to go to war with any of these centre backs.
I think this is where it's the balance thing of the squad, right? Because I agree with a lot of what you've said in terms of it's the more experienced players making the mistakes. So if you look at the squad makeup. But one thing I'd say is I think the younger players, they're at a point in their career where they're not ready to sort of burden and put the rest of the team on their shoulders. They're focused on their performance. They're focused on developing themselves. So then what you end up with is the few players that are a little bit more experienced, or do have that little bit more weight on their shoulders. Wesley Fofana, Mark Cucurella, Trevor Chalobah. These are all players that have experienced sending offs this season. And I think it's because they're almost trying to carry too much weight and almost doing what Miz has said, where they are trying to take accountability, but it's instead of coming out in sort of experience and a sort of calm-natured head, it's actually coming out in more rash decisions. Caicedo, red card against Arsenal, where they're trying to take so much into their hands, and it's coming out in the opposite fashion, and it's ending up in red cards. And it's because I don't think it's a lack of desire for the ones that are being sent off. I think Fofana, he's trying to do his job in the counter press. Now, yes, it's silly because he knows he's on a yellow card, but he's almost trying to take too much responsibility and try and cover up gaps for other players, same as Caicedo. So that's where my sort of like the experience thing doesn't fully cover it, but it also does have its own sort of part of this.
But
here's what I think. So here's what I think, right? And it goes back to what Matisse says. Matisse thinks we don't have that aggression. I think what we're lacking is a centre back or someone that has the football maturity. Football maturity is going to be different from footballing experience. When I think about football maturity, I link it with someone like a Thiago Silva, where you could put a Rudiger beside. So you could tell Rudiger, hey, go off the rails. I'll direct you here. I'll tell you when to step out. I'll cover the back. Football maturity would get us that win against Leeds. When he sees that we're not mature, football leader sees some of these players dropping their heads, he brings them up. He tells them, hey, lock in, stay focused, and lead by example. Now, with that being said, us lacking that in the squad, you get the situations that we get with Fofana. You get the multitude of situations this season where we're dominating games and we just go off the rails because we want to get lackadaisical. We want to drop our shoulders. We want to relax. We are lacking that focal figure in the squad that's going to constantly yell at these people, like the John Terrys. Yell at these people to stay locked in. Yell at these people to keep our necks on the opposition. That's what I think we're lacking.
But you know what, Javon? Like, I fully hear what you're saying, right? And what you just said about Fofana, I get it. There is no that Thiago Silva-esque, that football immaturity. Lovely what you just said, right? Absolutely agree with that. But as an individual, say I'm Wesley Fofana, and I'm just looking at that incident for the time being, and there's been plenty of incidents like that, right, all throughout this season, but that incident alone, has Wesley Fofana forgotten he was on a yellow card? Like,
yes.
But see, that's crazy for me, Alexis. Has this guy forgotten?
But that comes back to football maturity. How do you forget that you're on a yellow
he's
card?
never been in that position. He's never, like, this is the argument, right?
Alexis, how can you be so unaware? How can you be so unaware of the situation? That's mad.
You know, we're looking in hindsight, and honestly, after the game, I fully agreed with you. But you know what? I went away and I saw a few articles, right? Fofana did an interview, I think it was a couple months ago, and said when he first joined, Koulibaly really helped him. Whether it was talking to him while he was playing, whether it was off the pitch, keeping him in check, trying to keep his emotions in check while he was playing. Andre Santos did an interview and said when he first joined Chelsea, Thiago Silva took him and Angelo out for dinner. And what he did was basically tell him, are you going to be in this game for a short period or a long period? If you're in it for the long period, you need to do the stretching. You need to get a personal check. And all these
food
things,
and all of that. Yeah.
It's leadership on and off the pitch. Our problem is it's never the same players making the mistakes. It's different ones, and they're taking turns. It's because it's part of their journey. And Matisse is right. There's a misalignment between fan expectations, the club's expectations, and the ownership's desire of where we're going to go. I don't think Fofana, for example, had a bad game. I think he had two rash moments that cost him a red card because he was good.
Yeah,
it was good.
Fofana,
it was good.
It was good. But what I'm saying is, Fofana is the guy you would partner with a Thiago Silva type player.
Yes.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Agreed.
Like
100%
none of these centre backs, or I don't think any one of these midfielders are mature enough for you can say, I can count on you week in, week out. If you're on a yellow, the yellow card you get is that yellow to get at that time. Because we can agree, we can make certain tactical fouls because it's the right thing to do at that time. I don't trust anyone in this squad.
But Javon,
yes, that's
who'd be the leaders in the team right now? Who'd be the leaders?
Colwell.
It will have
the ones that are available.
Enzo, Caicedo, Reece James, maybe Caicedo.
I wouldn't.
The other thing is with the leaders.
So Reece James. So Reece James was playing that game. Would he not somewhere along
Reece
the path at halftime?
Reece got taken off.
But it's a different.
But he
type
was
of
there.
leadership.
He was there at halftime, right? He was there at halftime. Someone needs to remind and let Wesley or whenever someone is on a yellow, right, just to go, hey, just stay focused, lock in, no rash stuff. I'm giving you full license to do what you need to do, but just know that you're on a yellow.
Borderline.
Don't jeopardize the team here. Is no one having these conversations, or just everyone's like?
And you know, that's a good point, though, Miz, because if you had someone like that, that could have avoided majority of the problems that we've seen with the Caicedo this season.
But everybody is so focused, most likely, on making sure their own game is patterned and on point.
Yeah.
They're probably. I don't look at this team and think anybody outside of Reece James has got their game so figured out and so on point that they can then start to think about others' game and start to direct and look after others. And that comes from quality and experience combined, because we don't have those two things combined. Tosin is experience, but he is not quality. He cannot look after anybody else's game because he is not good enough to even be playing himself. The key with Thiago Silva that you mentioned is that he was so good. He was so good. He had everything already figured out. He's played so many games at the highest level for all of the top clubs. Put him in pressurized situations, he's been there. Put him in title deciding situations, he's been there. Put him in Champions League knockout situations, he's been there. Put him in 10 men situations, he's been there. Put him in any situation you can possibly think of footballing wise, he's been there. Even Fofana, he's been injured for so long. If we actually strip his age, get rid of his age for a second, and actually look at the amount of minutes he's accumulated as a footballer, you're probably looking at a 22-year-old that's out there.
Yeah, footballing age.
His footballing age is probably about 22 years old with the amount of games he's played, if we're just being general and just being on average. So he's another young player in terms of minutes, in terms of experience, in terms of football. Tosin at the highest level is a kid. He ain't played at the highest level.
He shouldn't be at the highest
He shouldn't be at the highest level. He hasn't played at the highest level. He's a kid at the highest level. So you could, when you go through it, that's what it boils down to for me. It's a very so
Matisse,
when the pressure's there, the team is very fragile. That word is the key word here. This team is very fragile. When everything's going well, the coach naturally is not experienced either at the highest level. So that just comes with the Blueco remit in terms of who they hire. But in terms of when the going gets tough, when we're playing good football, we look brilliant. We know Santos is breaking lines. Caicedo's an insane passer in the 4th minute for Neto. João Pedro's technically really gifted, great goal, really good run he's on. Enzo, Palmer, Esteva. Again, when we talk about just pure football, the team, there's a lot to like. But if we talk about hard times, hard graft situations that you're not familiar with, backs against the wall, mentally challenging moments, that's where it gets very fragile, and that's where this shit really falls apart.
So Matisse, you said the player Tosin, and I'm just using him as an example, right? Because there are other examples that we can use in this squad, but let's just say we use Tosin. You've just mentioned, and I think the entire panel and the live chat probably agrees as well, this guy's got experience, but he doesn't have the quality, right? Now, we can go one or two ways here. One, do we believe he could potentially eventually have a bit of quality down the track? Can he grow the mental side of the game? Can he progress to be a far more well-rounded player? Or we go, now, you know what? We've seen enough. I think we need to get rid of this guy because he's not cutting it at this level. Because sometimes that is what it is with certain individuals. You're capped. You can't go any more than that, unfortunately. So why are we not cleaning up shop quicker? Why are we not figuring these owners? And I don't want to make the show all about the ownership, but what I'm trying to get to here is that they've been here for a while now. You've had time to assess. You've seen how this operates. Like, what are you waiting for? Why is it so difficult for you to make the right judgment over and over again every single transfer window? You don't know who to get out, you don't know who to bring in, and you keep bringing in the ones that essentially down the track end up not having the mentality. They might have the talent, but they don't have the mentality. They're a bit flimsy. Like, for example, let's say for argument's sake, Gittins seems like he's got the talent, but he seems flimsy. Garnacho, on the other hand, doesn't even seem to have any level talent, and he's flimsy. Like, how are we meant to progress? How are we meant to progress?
We've capped out.
That's part and parcel of the model, right? because that's the part of the game that they haven't developed yet, and that's the part of the game that you develop at a later age and that you notice at a later age. You can have strong will and mentality at a younger age, but when it develops into leadership, into how you exude yourself in a group, that is usually a prime years sort of evolution. It's not really something at that younger age. I think something that you guys have all been sort of speaking about is the leadership. I think it's also the types of leaders that we have, right? Because you've got vocal leadership and you've got leadership by example. And I think that we fall into the category of so many players that want to lead by example. The ones that you mentioned as the leaders, Enzo, I'd class as more lead by example, can be quite vocal, but wants to sort of put himself about. Casado especially, Fofana especially, Reece isn't especially loud vocally. I'd say the only vocal leader that really we have is probably Colwell, and he's out, and then maybe Sanchez. Apart from those two, in terms of being vocal, everybody else wants to lead by example, and I think that that's where it leads to those extra sort of like Casado's trying to lead by example, gets a silly yellow cards, red cards. Wesley Fofana, same thing. And I think that it's having that mixture of leaders, like we keep referring to Thiago Silva. That's exactly what we need: a vocal leader who can calm others down and can sort of exude their presence, their composure within the team. And I think that that's what we're missing personally.
Con, you know what you just said here about leadership? What was very evident and what really disappointed me, a lot of people blaming Fofana, right, for the drop points. What disappointed me, and this is what Don and I argue about in the chat for those of you that are privy, consistently. Don's of the belief, back the attack, will outscore teams. I think there are times where you need to be more defensively solid and you need to know how to keep the ball.
100%.
I believe if we had an Enzo Maresca in charge rather than Liam Rosenior, the expectation would have been we keep the ball and we don't make any, we don't try to counterattack and do anything stupid. And then what ends up happening is we give away dumb free kicks. And how many players gave away dumb free kicks to invite Burnley to have an opportunity to pummel the box?
But Burnley could have won. Burnley could have won right at the end.
But do you know what? At that stage, right, they were rattled. And that's the weakness of this team, because it's the first few times they're going through it. And that's the reality of it. Josh was on the pitch. Hater was on the pitch. They weren't on the pitch consistently when we were out down to 10. Maresca wasn't playing them. Santos switched off. I promise you now, Santos won't be switching off again for another set piece for a very long time. They need to go through this. The problem is we don't want to go through it as fans because we have expectations, man. Like we have...
But at the same time,
how long do we need to go through this? Because this season we've gone through that incident.
This is
with
multiple
Burnley.
years.
We went through this last season.
Brentford earlier on this season switched off. Do you know what I mean? There've been other instances where we've switched off. How long is this switch off going to be? Like how many years?
As long as we keep turning things over. As long as we keep turning over players, over managers, and not building a core group that learns to deal with adversity. I think every time you reset the button. I mean, Rosenior, I like Rosenior, but again, it's another thing. It's another thing where he's learning again, and he's got to gain he's got to learn, as he said in his press conference, who he can lean on. I think that was a big part of why Maresca was so stubborn in terms of keeping players away from the squad. Hato, Santos, as talented as they are, he clearly trusted a core group, and that was the group that he saw, if you use Rosenior's words, that he can lean on. Now, of course, it didn't turn out that way. We went on a poor run. That's not to say it worked, but that was the method in the madness. Rosenior's going through that process now, so we're going through those mistakes, those errors. He'll somewhat come to a conclusion in a similar way, and we'll see certain players frozen out in a similar way to what Andre and Hato was. Not the same ones, because Andre is, of course, he's going to be a key cog in this team. He's been.
I think Garnacho's already been frozen out because I don't see Garnacho play that much under.
He's one that hasn't been in the last few games. Yeah, for sure.
Amen. Long may it continue.
But here's the thing. I want it to be a balance. I want them to have a balance with this thing, right? I understand that you're gonna get players that make certain decisions that switches off, and that comes with maturity. That comes with experience and age, especially when you play at different levels of in this footballing thing. But we are gonna forever have this issue until you start signing players of a certain quality. Because how do you offset having a manager like Rosenior on the sideline? How do you offset having this much youth in the squad? You bring in players with footballing maturity. Because I guarantee you, if Thiago Silva was on that pitch, he would have organized that back line, would have organized that defense against that counter attack. Certain things just won't happen when you have that type of player on the pitch, whether in the middle of the park or whether in defense. So at some point, this ownership has got to, if you're going to do this to offset the negatives that comes with signing these type of players, you have to bring in players with footballing maturity and with footballing experience. Yes, all of that is tied in with quality, of course.
The
Go ahead,
first
Alexis.
domino fell, by the way, this weekend for Rosenior's 18-month spell at Chelsea. And first thing was Hato not starting over Gusto. He went to experience and it backfired. The second thing was at the end of the game, he publicly came out and called out the players. That's the first time he has done
I was
that.
just gonna say you're on track to get yourself sacked down the track. Do you know what I mean?
I've seen this.
This is how others got
managers.
sacked. This is how others got
Like,
sacked.
It's all well and good being really positive, and this is what we were saying 2 weeks ago when I was on. All of us said this. It's too early to judge him. Let's see what he's like when bad things happen, you know? And it was the first time when I heard him say, oh, a player missed an assignment. We need to have accountability. It's not about being young. And I was like, you're spot on. But I wonder how Paul and Daddy Egbali are going to take this upstairs.
But you know what, Alexis, that's such a good point, because our upcoming fixtures, oh boy, you're making those errors against Leeds and Burnley. Yeah, make them against Arsenal and Aston Villa and Newcastle and Manchester City. You best believe you're getting jacked up the back. You are getting jacked. So how will Liam Rosenior, who's already reacted the way he has reacted after Leeds and Burnley, and said that you've set 4 points on fire, and he looked like it almost feels like to me, Rosenior understands what is required, and it feels like, by the way, what is that noise?
Yeah, mute your mic. Someone mute your mic, whoever that is.
Oh, it's Connor. I think it's Connor. It's coming from, yeah, there we go. Yeah. Or maybe it was Alexis. So
No, it weren't me. I mute straight away.
Oh,
To see if it was me.
how is Liam Rosenior, who seems to understand the situation a lot more, and it feels like, as we've already gone through with the players, but it has to come to a time where Javon has said, like, these owners need to understand you can't just be piling on the squad with this level of, or this type of players. You have to have different elements, or else we're forever going to be in this cycle, man. We're never going to come out of this cycle. It's always going to be the same thing, season in, season out. And maybe this season we don't even make Champions League. Who knows?
But go and look at the last two summer windows. They had the opportunity as world champions, and with Champions League qualification, they had no excuse outside of the fact that they had UEFA restrictions, which we're going to have again this summer. So if you can't get it right with record sales, record players leaving the club, and replacing with quality, the quality that's necessary outside of the Brazilian players that came in, the quality is not there. Then what chance do you have if you potentially qualify for Europa League football and you have UEFA restrictions? They had the chance to show if they were going to be serious with the quality side of things, and they went with Delap, and they went with Garnacho, and they went with Gittins. Simple as that. Simple. Nobody looked at the and nobody. They have already decided what the cap is of this squad in terms of they've already decided who the key players are. The key players are the key players that are here now that were signed 2 or 3 years ago. 3 years ago, most of them. Enzo, how many years has he been here? Caicedo, he's in his third season.
Third season. Enzo, fourth season.
Just João Pedro came in there and just took the striker position up a level. But most of the players, Cucurella, Fofana, Colwell, Reece James, Caicedo, Lavia, Enzo Fernandez, most of the guys, Cole Palmer, a lot of these guys have been here for 3 years now. They've already decided who the top shelf. How can you have 3 seasons and very rarely improve? Apart from Estevar, who was signed a while ago, and he's just a wonder kid. Very rarely improve the starting 11. All the guys that are coming in, Felix, Shrewsbury Hall, Garnacho, Gittins, Delap. Most of those guys coming in are the level under that. They're the squad players. They're the players that they're looking at saying, right, can you push the starters? Not knowing that the starters still need help. They still need improved upon.
I like to look
So,
at it like
Matisse,
this. I like to look at it like they're swapping a battery. You know, they're just exchanging one nonsense for the same nonsense. And with that, and my question to the board, directly to the board, would be: how many people that's qualified into this football space are going to reiterate the same things in different way? When you go from the interviews with Luis Enrique and the Nagelsmann, when you go to multiple different managers that has been here and that has left, the reasons they have left at some point in time, whether they sign with the agreements that they signed for and they make headway, they're going to still ask for quality at some point. All these people are saying the same things in a different way, in different regard, which simply means no matter how you slice the cake, you cannot avoid signing quality and developing the squad properly. These owners, if Rosenior starts going down the same path that Mariska did, like Poch did at one point, that other people that applied for the position did, that journalists did, that we speak about, if all of us collectively can say the same things in different way, when will they start to listen?
They won't. They've already said this is the model, this is the plan. They're very stubborn, so they're going to stick with it. And the only two ways out of this is they start to recruit. They actually start to recruit under 25, low wage, low fee players that are quality instead of your Garnachos and your Delaps in terms of the technical level. And then we start to watch really young generational wonder kids just balling out in front of our eyes, and we start to build this just ridiculously technical team. Or that right now technical level in the sport, in my opinion, is in hell. So if you can build a technical team right now, okay, all these other intangibles, they're still going to catch up to us, by the way. But if you just build a team that is so technically high in terms of the attack, the attacking level is so high technically, maybe you could just Liverpool Rodgers your way out of it with your Sturridge, Suarez, Sterling situation over there, right?
But even
you're winning
a league.
It doesn't win a league, in my opinion, but you're winning games 4-3, 4-2. You're just going crazy, right? Immaturity, sendings off, goals conceded, but you're just so fun and you're so good technically that you're loving life. Chelsea fans will love it, right? But it might not win you a league, but you'll be up there and you'd be going Brendan Rodgers.
It's chaos. It's chaos football.
We might win
chaos
football. We might win a Champions League.
Or the players that are already here, in terms of your Levi Colwells, your Fofanas, your Enzo Fernandezes, your Caicedos, your João Pedros, your Reece James, your Cucureas, your Cole Palmers. There's a lot of players, but these guys just need to go up a level again. And the levels of maturity need to go right up there. And the levels of leadership need to go right up there. And the levels of dependency and consistency need to go right up there. And then your Estevals can supplement, and your Mamadou Sarrs can supplement, and your Andre Santoses and Lavias can supplement. But personally, I don't think we have enough of the guys at the top shelf. I still want a few more people. And the top shelf there, you put, people have said it before, but you put the left wing position into this. You put a centre back into this. You just a few more players at the top shelf with the intangibles that we've been speaking about that we're lacking. And then you can reassess it from there afterwards. But if you're not going to touch that top shelf and you're going to keep depending on that top shelf as the team that's going to win the league, I think you're going to be bitterly disappointed as it stands, because a lot of these guys are coming into their prime.
Don't you think, right? Just using Manchester City's January as an example. I'm not saying these players are perfect, but Aguehi as our centre-back and Semenyo as our left winger, all of a sudden, in my opinion, changes this team.
We're challenging for the league, blood.
No, because you get another productive goal scorer on the wing who you can rely on. So the burden's not only on João Pedro and Palmer. And you get a centre-half who is a leader, who can lead a line alongside a Reece James, Cucurella, and Fofana. The whole narrative's different. We're not as far as people want to make out. Problem is that final step is the hardest one, especially when you have the parameters that our owners are setting.
So here's the thing. Alex, such a good point. I've always agreed with that as well, that we're not too far away. And I think Javon, Connor, Matisse have all also mentioned there are some quality players. And I've said it from the get-go as well. There are some quality players, but it's that having that shelf, as Matisse was saying, the one or two more players. But Alexis, it feels like our owners don't want to do this, and there's consequences to that. And I want to talk about this, right? When you're part of an organization, Alexis, you're working for a particular company, Javon's working for a particular company, Connor's working as well, Matisse is involved with DR and Big Six and so many other things. I'm involved with my company. When you're part of a company that you see on a consistent basis that doesn't want to elevate, doesn't want to take their game to the next level consistently, and you feel like I'm capped now here, like I can't, me increasing even more is not really dragging the team up anymore because there are gaps. What tends to happen in those sort of scenarios? You start looking elsewhere. You start looking for other organizations that, you know what, I know I'm talented and I know that company is really good. I'm going to go there, and I know the bunch of people that are there, they're going to help me elevate to the next level as well. That's just the natural way of thinking, no? Like that's just, when you see that your parent company is not operating the way you want it to operate, they don't show that ambition. Sooner or later, some of these talented people are just going to leave.
Let's put it in the actual football terms, which what we've seen in our football club. As a Chelsea fan growing up, I view this club as if a player leaves here and they want to take a step up, I see them going to a Real Madrid or a Barcelona, right? If they went to any other Premier League club, I view it as a lateral step or a step down. I would assume that you guys would agree, right? You leave Chelsea Football Club.
Historically,
Yes. From what we've known our club to be historically, if you don't live here, if you leave here and you don't go to maybe a Juventus in their prime or a Bayern in their prime, or Barcelona, Real Madrid, it's a step down. Now, if these players go anywhere else, you can argue it's a step up based on how we've structured it. If Andre Santos leaves here to go to Atletico Madrid, you know it's gonna ball out over there. If it's gotten so bad to the point where Manchester United, in their scrub era, is talking about taking away our best player. Whether it be false or not, that narrative gains traction just because of how horrid or torrid our club has been run over the past couple of years. So, which feeds into Mrs. point, at some point, these players are going to want to look elsewhere. If Manchester United...
If they're not already looking, like that point might have arrived already, if already some of them are not murmuring some stuff to their agents.
Manchester United, a club I hate with every fiber of my being, are currently above us by what? 2 points? 3 points?
3 points, yeah.
3 points. If they get back onto a trajectory where they're competing for top 4 consistently, they're challenging for leagues again, and we remain stagnant, that would be an indictment of what this ownership came in, because what this ownership has done since they came in. Because they came in sauce
100%.
better than Manchester United.
Facts.
100%.
Facts.
We've gone backwards.
Yeah,
We've gone
exactly.
backwards.
Well,
Manchester
just stagnating is going backwards.
Yeah.
If you're stagnating, you're going backwards. You can't have a project that is built upon trajectory and process and time, and then you're stagnating. That's it. That's literally not the remit. That doesn't work. You have to be improving season in, season out. I was having a debate with people about this on Twitter, because you could justify to say that the points tally being similar to last year is some sort of improvement because of Champions League football versus Conference League, because of Club World Cup fatigue versus not having it. Okay, cool. I'll take those 2 reasons. I'm not taking the managerial change. They actively chose to do a managerial change and to keep changing managers. I'm not going to allow that to distract from their recruitment. A lot of people are going to allow the managerial change to distract from the poor recruitment that they should be held accountable to. If this team is not qualifying for the Champions League this season, that is failure. I'm not saying that failure needs to sit at Liam Rosenior's doorstep. I've said countless times, I don't care about the manager right now. I'm looking at the board and the owners. If you don't
100%.
qualify for Champions League this season, that is categoric failure. There is no way of dressing it up. I don't want to hear, some people are saying, we're better off in Europa League because we've got more chance of qualifying for Champions League next season.
They've brainwashed the fan base.
Fuck am I listening to? What the hell am I listening to? I don't want to call out names, but what on earth am I reading when people are telling me we're better off qualifying for Europa League because we got a better chance of qualifying for Champions League next season? We're not talking about trying to qualify for Champions League season in 26, 27. Are you tapped? Are you actually tapped in the head to be telling me that this club's ambition next season is to qualify for the Champions League? And your mental state and your mental capacity is telling you what is the easiest way to challenge for Champions League football next season? Let's play Europa League.
Honestly, it sounds like Spurs.
We are not Sevilla.
Like
what are you talking
sounds
about?
like Spurs.
People, we
It's
are
something
not
that
Sevilla.
Spurs would do.
We're not a third-rate club. We're not Sevilla. We're not a third-rate club. Anytime we've competed in Champions League, it is a disappointment for us not to make minimum semi-finals, quarterfinals. So what are we talking about?
What is Europa League qualification going to do for us financially? What is Europa League qualification going to do for our pool, which is already not in the strongest place when you're going Liam Rosenior up against Pep Guardiola, right? Or so what is that going to do for our pool? What is that going to do for our key play? This is what I always tell people to go back to. What would Reece James think? Reece James is going to be 28 years old next season. What would Reece James think? That will answer 99.9% of your questions. Should we be looking at Europa League football qualification? What would Reece James think? Should we be signing Alejandro Garnacho? What would Reece James think? Should we be doing this, that, the third, fourth, fifth? What would Reece James think? If you are not building this team around what would Reece James think, who wants to win Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, is the best player in the world in his position, who could walk into any team in this world, what would Reece James think? If you can't follow that remit and you want to diversify away from that because you want to believe in some sort of magical bullshit, some star signs and some that's your business. But I'm following what would Reece James think. That's very simple for me because he's the oldest alongside the oldest with the quality. So whatever timeline he's on, I'm on the same timeline. If Reece James is walking out of this football club without a Premier League title, we fucked up because he's fit now. He's playing and he's one of the best players out there. So there's no excuse now. So if you're not following that, then you've gone wrong because it shouldn't take more than 3 to 4 years. And I'm being generous, by the way, to have a Premier League title under these guys. If they're better than Roman, if they're better than Roman commercially, if they've got better strategy, if they've got better recruitment, if they've got better data, if they've got better AI, if they're better, because that's what they said, so that's what I'm judging them off. It's going to take how many windows Ornstein said to do this, that, and the third. I'm judging them off their own words. If you didn't come in here chatting shit, saying that you're the big's bollocks, I would maybe look at things differently. But you said you're the guy. You said you're the guys. So I'm judging you off what you're saying. If you're taking longer than Reece James's career shelf life to win a Premier League title after you've already been here for 3-4 years, you've messed up. You've messed up. I'm not gonna sit here in 10 years' time when they maybe snag their first title and people tell me it's good enough. There is a ticking time bomb on these owners. I'm sorry, there has to be. When we do any project in this life, there's time restraints.
There's time.
If you have to build
there's a budget.
house, if you have to build a house, there is time restraints. You don't have your whole life to build a house.
You have a certain time to complete it. Yep.
So I want to know, what are the time restraints for success? I don't want to hear people telling me about qualifying for Champions League in 26, 27 when Reece James is turning 28 years old.
You know what just dawned
because
on me,
otherwise, key players need to leave.
This is why.
That's it.
You know what just dawned on me, Matisse? If they were so-called better than Reece James, than the previous ownership, they would have realized, Roman hadn't won the title since 2016-17, right? Wouldn't be the owners on the ownership to say, hey, within our first 2 seasons, let's push and try to win a league title. And then let's go into this model to kind of sustain it after the facts. People, I checked this the other day and it almost made me cry. It's been almost 10 years. Actually, this year, because we're in 2026, this September will be the start of our 10-year since we've won a league title. Now let that sink in. Let's take a minute to let that sink in.
This is why I've been saying recently, similar to what Matissa said, but with a different twist, but almost at the end of the day, it's the same target. Every decision this football club makes from here on in, I started saying straight after we were linked with Jeremy Jacquet. Because for me, I was like, what the F? He might be the next big thing. I don't care. But I don't need the next big thing. I need the thing right now. Do you know what I mean? And I've been saying, every decision this football club makes from here on in, we need to figure out, does this decision help me win the Premier League next season? And if the answer is no, then that decision is stupid.
Facts.
Do not go through with that decision. Every decision, whether it's a player coming in, whether it's off the field, whatever it is, you need to direct it to, does this help me win the Premier League? Answers no. Yep, guys, stop it. We're not going through with this. We're not doing this one. It might sound very fancy and good right now, but it doesn't help me win the Premier League next season. Cut it out.
So I would argue with that. And and maybe that people are going to say, oh, here comes Blueco, right? My argument is, João Pedro, would you have said that was a signing to help us win the league? No. But I think that's a genuine improvement to this lineup where all of us would say this is a good player. He can take up. What I think the signings need to be, they need to be of that João Pedro mold. Players that have played in the league that are ready to ascend to the next level, rather than what we're doing is giving them an introduction to first team football. And because there's a way of applying this model and getting better success than we currently are. If they're not going to change, because in an ideal world, they change the model, but they're not going to do that. So this is where the recruitment has to be spot on. Not 3 out of 3, but at least 2 out of 3. Like Santos is an asset. Esteban is an asset. João Pedro is an asset. The other 3 haven't been assets. And you need to get to a point where 4 out of the 6 is the assets. Do you know what I mean? Like, so go get someone that's already playing in the league and you want them to step up. I don't know. Like
to counter that, Alexis, when we, because I knew João Pedro, he was heavily linked with Newcastle, right? He was heavily linked there, and then we snatched him away from Newcastle. And in the Club World Cup, we saw how fantastic he can be. But even when we just got linked, I remember, because I used to watch, I still do, I watch a lot of Brighton, and I've watched him there. I watched him in Watford as well. I liked him always. So if you were to ask me at that point, and I was so giddy after the Club World Cup anyway, that, hey, Miz, do you think João Pedro is someone that can help us win the Premier League? I'd say, yeah, he would help us win the Premier League. But contrary to that, if you were to say, Miz, do you think Garnacho is someone that's going to help us win the Premier League? Categorically, everyone said, don't go get Garnacho. It doesn't improve anything. It doesn't help. It's not going to help us achieve. Gitten, same thing I said. He's not what we need. He's not going to help us. So
imagine, Miz, we have a winger that is injured in Gittins, and Garnacho is still an unused substitute after costing whatever he cost in the window.
2 games in a row.
Null and void under this manager so far in terms of contribution.
Yeah.
And people want to gaslight and pretend that that's a good signing. Why? We all watch football. We know what a good player looks like. I'm sorry. We just do. The guy cannot dribble. He is not a good shooter. And I said this before he came. Forget shot volume. Forget NP90 per G712, X912 algebra. He is not a good shooter. He's not a good shooter. So when you're not a good shooter, you're not going to be a reliable source of goals. You're just not. You need to have good ball striking ability. Like clean, consistent, good ball striking ability for you to then be a good, reliable source of goal. Semenyo is a good example of that. Both feet. He can actually shoot. He can actually shoot with both feet. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what data these guys are running with, but when you're using this much data and your hit rate is this woeful,
poor.
I don't understand. You can't
and
be
that's the
using
problem.
all this data and then every time you make a signing, it's like a dart. You're throwing it on a dartboard.
Mhm.
Like,
And what I don't understand, you would have had the data and you would have seen with the eye test and you would have had the video evidence that this guy wouldn't have helped us in any metric across the board. And for those people, this goes out to the Chelsea fan base that likes to be optimistic and that likes to try to find the good in it. Sometimes not all these players that these boards sign, you have to try and justify. What do I mean by that? Stop trying to find what they could potentially bring to the squad if it's not levels, if it's not clear as day, if it's not obvious to say, hey, when he walks into the squad, he can bring us this. Let me give a perfect example. When Garnacho was being signed, or Gittins, because we've been harping on Garnacho for a while, people kept telling me, and I've been having conversation with people. Well, if Gittins gets into a groove, well, if he utilizes him, they say, what the actual hell? No. We need a starting left winger and a subsequent left winger of quality. Why do we have to sign players that have to get into a groove to give us something good? Why do we have to start players where we're looking back for the first half of a previous season to see whether they had a glimpse or had a good run of form? Why can't we go sign someone like Semenyo that you could have told if he takes a step up to any other club, he was going?
But you
to
know what,
shine
Javon?
despite-
This is the thing that I want to say is that these owners, they've somewhat brainwashed large parts of this fan base. Back in the days when we were absolutely mauling the league, absolutely killing teams and performing so well, imagine getting 18 and 19 and 20-year-old kids to come into our squad and selling the dream to us that, oh, just be patient with them, they're going to be fantastic. No, we were just so accustomed to we're competing in all fronts everywhere. We need quality right now. I'm not even saying, okay, do it at that extreme level. Have what you're doing, your player trading and whatnot, but with a little bit of common sense. Like, don't just go so extreme where it's just trading. It's this trading policy. The next gem, the next this. Who was it, that Ecuadorian young CB that we just got? Not that long ago.
Ordinance.
Yeah, like you know, where are we even going to see this guy? He's probably, look at Kendry Paez. Look where
just
his
about to
career is
say.
going. Do you know what I mean? Like, he
but
was sold to us.
I don't mind low cost. I don't care
Yeah,
about low cost
that's exactly
16-year-olds because the only reason why we know about these guys because Fabrizio has got a reporting like addiction now, right? Really, we don't need to know about this. Under Roman, we were still getting your Lucas Piezons and all these Franco
Fabio
Di Santo
Charlie
and
Musanda and them, man.
yeah, Charlie
Bruma.
Musson. I don't need to know about this shit. It's great. Keep doing that if you want to get the best of the best in that age class. But I'm just saying, you need to have balance in your recruitment. You need to have balance. You need to also be looking at the here and now as well as looking at the future. And what you class as the here and now in Liam Delap, I do not class as the here and now. That is not, in my opinion, the here and now because he's coming from a team where he has not even put up the numbers to say that he can come in here and instantly impact. You know you're still developing him. You know you're still catering to his strengths and shadowing his weaknesses. You know this. So don't try and sell it off like that's some sort of instant quality. And there is less quality, I think, out there in this version of football than there was when Roman was in charge. I think that's fair to say. There isn't a plethora of world-class strikers out there. There's not a plethora of world-class centre-backs out there. But the ones that are on the verge and have accumulated a really good amount of games and have got experience even at a young age and look like they're ready to take that next step, look at those guys. That's not Delap. One season in the Premier League at Ipswich. That's not the same thing. It's not the same thing. So, if we can distinguish between that, because signing two 24-year-olds is not the same. It's not the same necessarily. There's 24-year-olds that are ready to do serious dirt in this league and do achieve, and there's 24-year-olds that have got no. Look, Mudryk is a classic example. How old is Mudryk? Before the suspension,
20, I think it was 24.
What, we
Man
signed
said
him at
before
what?
the suspension. He doesn't stop aging.
Did we not? No, but I'm saying because it's irrelevant now. He's suspended. But I'm saying when we signed him, he wasn't 19, 18 when we signed him. We signed him as like a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
22.
yeah.
He had no real experience as a 22-year-old. The
Yeah.
experience for Mbappe at 22 versus Mudryk at 22. Just look at the difference.
Mad.
That's what I'm saying. He doesn't really have enough. So that's what I'm saying. It's
Don't you think there should be another logic that, apart from what would Reece James do, there should be another one? If I need to persuade myself what they might become, we shouldn't buy him. Oh, Gittins could become a demon on the wing. Garnacho could be good like he was. The minute you have to justify the signing to your fans,
you know you already messed up. You
messed up.
This is a bad allocation of resource.
I'd rather they take a punt on a Leao than to have taken a punt on a Garnacho. Say what you want. At least I could look back and say, you know what? Leao did work here. He could do here. He did this. He came in with a track record of he actually helped AC Milan win a league title. I could actually point to that and say, hey, this, that, and the third. Versus a Garnacho that we know was crap.
By the way, since we're ranting, can I rant about something that I'm seeing this fan base do at the moment and is pissing me off? Can we stop pretending that Strasbourg is the only supply line for players? Because I've seen way too many "we want Moreira" shouts.
Get me Moreira. Get me Pinicelli.
I think Moreira, Pinicelli, most probably good players, but I don't think they elevate us. And I think the minute you bring them in, they bench warm, and then they get 15 minutes here and there, and their confidence reduces. We are not going to be a serious institution. Like, Delap is not as bad as we're talking about him. It's because he's not playing regularly and not developing. Put him in an Everton. Put him in Brentford. He is Thiago. He's just not ready. He skipped steps. Chelsea's a different caliber of level. Like,
you can't skip steps in professional level football. You just can't skip steps, man. Honestly, I like the Delap signing, but even I'm somewhat bemused by how far off he looks at times. But then maybe I got carried away. Maybe I should have thought, what did I expect? Ipswich to Chelsea. Like, that's madness. Ipswich to maybe Everton, then maybe Chelsea. There was a step in between that he's missed out.
The Harry Kane comparisons, I will never forgive people for the Harry Kane comparisons. You watched him at Ipswich doing up battle. Long ball, battle, channel running, in behind, just aggression. And they compared it to Harry Kane because he's English.
Square jawed.
It's racial profiling. It's literally racial.
That is racial profiling.
That's being racist.
Facts.
It's literally same characteristics, must be the same player.
Like,
that's true.
It's
lads.
We're in another situation. Just before you go, I just realized we're in another situation with Jackson last year. We have one main striker and no subsequent backup.
Yeah,
lads.
Whereas if we kept Jackson, we would have had a decent backup and a good starter now.
Decent. I don't know. We don't have a backup.
Jackson as a backup would be a brilliant option off the bench, in my opinion.
Until he's 1v1.
For me, it depends on the situation, because if you're up against a back five and you need a goal and you're putting in crosses, Jackson is one of the worst players.
Worst.
Right?
Yeah.
So it depends. Yeah. But if you need someone to come on when you're already winning the game and he's going to press and he's going to hold up the ball, he's going to link up, bring others into play, then he's great for that. So it just depends. But even when he does run in behind it, I like Jackson, but I'm over him. I'm over Jackson now because I'm thinking about the league, and Jackson's finishing is too inconsistent and too unpredictable for me to be longing for him to come back. He's not good enough in the air. You can't put him in behind 1v1 and know he's going to score. You can't look at his box movement and anticipation and say that made enough leaps and bounds for the tap-ins. Like, he's just
too many gaps.
Yeah, it's too many gaps. I need all of his best things plus more, and that's what João Pedro is currently given. So,
lads, Arsenal next up. Once again, I'll kick things off and I'll make it very, very simple. Obviously, I want to derail Arsenal's title hopes. Of course, that's in the back of the mind, but that's not even the main thing. I need these players And I'm pretty sure, once again, as I said, I try and replicate what things have happened in my life. Have I ever been in this situation? How would I react? If I'm consistently getting bossed and losing to someone, right, which is what Arsenal Football Club have been doing, there comes a point where I'm just going to say to myself, fuck this, man. It's either I win on the weekend or kill me. I might as well die. Like, I must win or
extreme.
I die here. Like that, because
You could quit.
I've now lost to these lots so many times. I can't just go in there and just roll over again for another loss. Like, I need to have some dignity. I need to have some pride about myself, man. I would love to see this team go to the Emirates. I know our record's been bad, but this Arsenal team, it's not like they can't be beat. They can definitely be beat. Go out there and beat them. Everyone's already in the hope, it's going to be another loss. It's going to be another L anyway. And I'm sick of it, man. I'm absolutely sick of it.
Are we going to have... We don't have
Matisse, I
Cucurella.
don't care who's available, but
we have to
is
care.
available.
We have to care because this
might as well just give me an L. I'm not even going to
this,
show up for the game. Just give me an L.
Genuinely, I can't wait for the next game after this game because I can't wait to just be past this game. We've played Arsenal too many times.
That's crazy.
At the Emirates.
I can't wait for this game to be done and dusted. Move on to the next. Honestly, every time we go into this fixture, Don was there ringing me before the game against Burnley. Cucurella's got a hamstring. Cole Palmer's just put in a performance that's not the level that's required when we really need him to be at his very best. Esteval's not available. We got a suspension now for Fofana. So the back line's going to be... If I see Tosin on that starting 11 sheet against Arsenal, I will take this microphone and I will smash it into this camera. I don't
Liam Rosenior said
he
knows who he can lean on.
Is Neto suspended? Because there was people were saying that he. I don't know why people were saying he's not.
Is this what Spurs feels like when they play us every week, every season?
Yes.
Oh Lord,
Most probably.
Oh, the mighty has fallen.
We can ask Toby; he'll confirm it.
So no Cucurella, no Steve, no Fofana. So we're gonna see someone next to Chalobah.
Is Cuckoo definitely out?
Yeah, he's definitely out. His hamstring issue.
Who's playing left back? Is it going to be Gusto or Hato? I don't want to see Gusto at left back again.
Yeah,
do not show me.
It's going to be
Gusto
Gusto because Hato versus Saka.
You never know.
Listen, I would rather chance Hato versus Saka than play Gusto over there. Gusto, when we're trying to play football and he's at left back, it stinks.
It negates what he's good at.
You didn't like the no-look pass?
I didn't like the no-look pass. I didn't like the build-up play. I didn't like any of that shit. Don't want to see him over there, right? It's just
I didn't like his Dubai pictures. None of it.
We might see Assar beside Chalobah.
That is what I would do, by the way.
I would go with Sarr. I'd go with
Sarr. And the reason I'm going with Sarr is the least known quantity. So I'm going for the unknown. Surprise me. You know, I know what I'm getting from Tosin. I know what I'm getting from Badi Ashile. So it's either you give me Josh or you give me Sarr. Because I actually
because of his passing capability.
I'd rather go through the growing pains.
I like Josh. I'd rather
go through the growing pains.
I think Sarr is a bit more physical. I'd go with Sarr, and he's a natural left footer. Plus, he's going to give us that natural passing from the back, right? He's going to give us a passing capability. You part them side, Hato, put Enzo over there on that left-hand side. It's just the midfield, if we can have a solid midfield, because I know Caicedo's available, if we can have a solid midfield, Reece James on the park, with a Palmer and hopefully a Esteval and João Pedro, I think we'll do some damage. It's just that going to the Emirates, it's a pain.
Are we just sort of somewhat giving up on this game? Like, is that the sort of vibe? Like, it seems like you lot are just looking forward to the next fixture. Well, the next fixture after that, and also don't forget, the more points we keep dropping, Liverpool and Man United have the opportunity to pick up points and just keep
It's a
going
must.
ahead of
It's a
us.
must win for first bit.
Like, and right after, I think right after Arsenal, it's Aston Villa, isn't it?
We like to play against Aston Villa. I'm not too worried about Aston Villa.
Yeah, well,
It's more
I
so-
thought we like to play against Burnley as well, and look what happened there, right?
The thing is, guys, like, I think
You're right.
if you this weekend, if we get a point, and it's gonna it's horrible that I'm even saying this is a good point. Like the league table won't reflect it, but it's a good point on road to 67 points. So then if you go and match it up with a victory against Aston Villa midweek, 4 out of 6, you need to remember Man United and Liverpool will go through bad patches. There's a reason they're in top 4 hunt. Villa will go through have been going through a bad patch. They don't score enough
You're on
goals.
mute.
Villa's falling like a brick, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, Villa don't score enough goals, so they will drop points, and they have to play Liverpool, Man United, and us. So,
But we will also drop points, Alexis. That's the
I
problem.
agree,
Like,
but
you're,
this is
you're
where we need to
hoping
win.
that we pick up points.
well, my argument here is, if you want top 4, you must. You have to go and win 6 out. Like, you have put yourself in this position. Now you need to get yourself out of this position. Because if you won the 2 games against Leeds and Burnley, you needed 5 more wins to all but secure it. But
I genuinely feel against Arsenal we'll do something. I don't feel like it's all dead and buried. It's just that we haven't won at the Emirates in a while. Yet alone beating Arsenal, we haven't won at the Emirates for a while. What I am leaning on is Arsenal performances, barring Spurs. Spurs are just horrid, but they haven't been playing well enough, whether away or at home lately. And some of the space, perfect example. I was watching the Spurs game, and Spurs in the final third in the first half could have hurt Arsenal if they had better attacking quality, and our attacking quality is a lot better. The way we string passes in that final third is a lot better. We have better decision makers in that final third, and we have better finishers than Spurs in the final third. So if our final third shows up, I think we damage Arsenal. I think we score against them. My issue is our best defenders are out, which is Fofana and Kukurea. That is my issue. So I think we'll do something. I don't think it's a loss. It's just hard. I just cannot see a victory going to the Emirates at this current moment.
Matisse, before I let you go, honest feelings about this, because you're normally up for the Arsenal fixture. You got the war vest on. You know, like all sorts of Arsenal sort of content creators that you're in touch with. There's always lovely like rivalry videos. There's a lot of Arsenal fans on your channel as well. You kind of seem like it's not really you're a little bit deflated moving into this fixture.
What have we shown in the fixtures this season to tell us it's going to be any different? What have we shown with our ill discipline to tell me that these guys can be trusted in a London derby away from home, where you need to keep your heads? We've got key players missing. Best centre-back or one of out, suspended. Left-back, suspended. That's half the back 4 already. And Esteban, I don't know what his situation is. We need all of our players. We need all of our players for this game. Like, we can't be coming into these games constantly with makeshift depth pieces coming in. We already know our depth pieces are unreliable. We already don't know what Hato's going to do against Saka. We can't be going into this game talking like that. Kukurea, when he plays against Saka, he handles him. That's what we need. Go into the Emirates. When Fofana, before the red card, he was actually playing well. That's what we need. I'm not gonna tell people that Sar's gonna come in here and drop a masterclass. I don't know Sar well enough in these circumstances. He's never been in this position before. He's played Hull City. He hasn't played Arsenal. You know, and they have to win the game because they're in a title race. And to be honest,
he's played PSG.
And the reason why I'm so deflated is because a draw doesn't really do anything for me now. I need a win. We need to beat this team.
2-1 win.
I'm not really gonna be looking at a draw thinking, yeah, wowee, what a moment for us. We're not Tottenham. We need to be beating this fucking team, bro. We've not beaten them for years. I don't.
Just fed up, bro.
This is my thing. I don't care about a draw with these lot anymore. I've seen draws. I've seen losses. I don't care. I need a win. Only a win can satisfy my taste buds in this game. And because I don't think we're going to win, that's why I'm deflated. I'm not going to be predicting a win for Chelsea at the Emirates, am I? So I'm pretty unsatisfied. Yes, because I want to win the game. We need to win the game. When you put yourself in a position that we're in, you can't be picking and choosing when you win and when you don't. We're in a straight fight for top 5 with 2 other teams, and we're hoping Aston Villa get dragged back in as well. None of the fixtures in the Premier League are easy. You can drop points to Wolves. You can drop points to Leeds. You can drop points to Sunderland at home, as we have. We've not beaten a single promoted team at home this season. You have to treat every game in isolation as an opportunity for 3 points. And that's where it is for me. The fixtures are all too difficult and the running is too hard for me to be saying, oh, I'll take a point against Arsenal. I'm not taking nothing. I want to win.
You can't.
I'll take a win. I'll take a win against Arsenal. Yeah. I'm not taking a point. We need to win the game. And yes, it's delusional to maybe to ask for a win against the league leaders, but I don't really care. It's 22 players on the pitch kicking one football. Anything can happen. You'd like to think.
If Wolves can get that draw, we must can get that win. That's
Absolutely.
all.
Bro, Brentford
mentality has to
almost
be.
won. Brentford almost won against Arsenal.
That's what I'm
They
saying. We
deserve
can
to win.
exploit the back line. We can exploit their back line.
The mentality's
So
got to be to win the
Pride
game.
needs to kick in.
Yeah,
You know, like
absolutely.
That's what I'm
there
saying.
needs-
That's
there
what I'm
need- there needs-
saying.
And
God.
look, Miz, I'm not gonna lie to you. It's very hard for us to come on here right now and talk with our chest because of what Matisse. I think it's 15 games since we last beat them. I think it's 15 games since we last beat them, and that's
We have
nasty.
swapped
news.
places with
Was that
Arsenal.
Lukaku
Yeah,
goals?
Tuchel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
And-
15 games ago.
And guys,
Yeah.
if you realize that season is where everything changed. It's like we swapped the places with Arsenal. Because before then, we would compete for league titles but not win it. We would start off, be at the top of the table, and fall off. We literally swapped places with Arsenal. We used to beat them.
Plus-
We used to beat them year in, year out, and we swap places.
Let's hope they
What-
surprise us like PSG. You know, we turn up and we blitz them, and we have a memory where it's like, oh, you know what? This kick starts like the final part of our season. We go into the Champions League with some excitement. But at the moment, it's hard to look at it with that positivity. I've got hopium, you know, like, or copium as the kids call it. Like, I need 7 wins from somewhere.
Is Palmer going to drop a masterclass at the Emirates on Sunday?
Hopefully.
Bro,
Is
he
Palmer
needs
going to play on Sunday?
What else is he going to do?
Well, there might be load management for Wednesday night against Villa.
Bro,
Fuck me.
bro.
Oh
if I
my
don't,
days.
if
Nah,
that is
no,
the case,
Alex,
There might be load management.
No,
Would
I'm
it shock
done,
you? Would it shock you?
The only load management he should be doing is post-game load management. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've seen his pictures in Dubai. He should be doing load management there. So he better be playing against us. He better be playing against Arsenal.
If we're in this situation at this stage of the season and they prioritize load management against Arsenal and Aston Villa, wrap it up. Wrap it up. Call it a season. We finish 5th on the books, and then we just target the Champions League and the FA Cup. F the league. Done it right
100%.
there, so.
Matisse, I'll let you go. And soon
Yeah.
we'll wrap things up anyway. But thanks, bro. I'll
Yeah.
catch you around. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys subscribe to Matisse if you haven't by any chance. Link in the description. Catch you later, Matisse. Lads, just before we do the super chats, it is a good point, just quickly on Cole Palmer. Whoever wants to go for it. I get it. He's been injured. I fully understand. He's been off form large parts of last season as well. But how long can this last? Like, I feel like, Cole, you now need to be a big time player, man. Like games like this, you need to just grab it by the scruff of its neck and just go, I am running the show here. How long are we going to keep saying, oh, but he's been injured. We're still managing him. We need this guy to ball out. Like, lads, we need this guy to really help us, give us that attacking potency.
I think Cole Palmer is a victim, right, of unrealistic expectations being set. So, for example, when he came in, he had I remember saying this on one of my videos when it was happening. Guys, we're arguably seeing his greatest ever season. Like, life doesn't work that way, that you're going to continuously improve. Sometimes you peak and you have something that's gold up. Yeah, 24 goals, 15 assists in the league.
Yeah, it was an
Those are
anomaly.
generation-
Like, that was a crazy one. That was a crazy
It's a generation.
season. Yeah.
And last year, he got 15 and 12, I think. And people were saying it's a bad season. And I was like, yeah, expectations are cooked. Whereas this year now, he's got 9 goals and he's injured. He's managing an injury. So I feel like the expectations for him to be Superman Palmer are always going to be there. And he's going to have to learn to manage it. But the one thing I do want to stop, and it's not going to be popular, his attitude stinks, man. His attitude absolutely towards his teammates.
I saw what you said when he got substituted off again, moaning and groaning and head down.
Yeah, bro, I don't need that from you. I'm sorry, I don't need that. You're not playing well enough.
But I think that comes from the frustration that he knows he's not playing well enough. Because I think it's eating at his psyche. Miss against Leeds, he does normally miss that. He would have scored that game, be the winner, lauded as the hero. Then when you compare that with the sitters and some of the charges he would normally bury in that Burnley game, I think that's what breeds into the frustration. And I don't want it to keep on building on itself where he gets the ball and he tries to do too much when he should release it here because he's trying to be the main man. I do mind. Because sometimes the pass is there and that's the better pass instead of keep it out to the ball.
But you know what? I think sometimes we play too safe. So I don't want to be a hypocrite here and say, you know what, like, oh, he should have played this pass because it's the right pass to make. Sometimes the reason we fell in love with this player is because he tried the stuff that you didn't see. And because he's such a genius, where it comes off, you rate it. And this is why people are critical. He didn't score those chances, right? He missed the one-on-one. He's getting the chances. He's creating chances that will, across a season, lead to a lot of goals and a lot of assists. My issue is when he starts doing all this, holding his face, and Jimmy said when he shouted at Jackson, that was the first indication. Leaders do not do that. Eden Hazard would have been slapping Michy Batshuayi around the head 50 million times, but you never saw that from Eden Hazard, right? The problem
he just carried on. Eden Hazard just went back and just carried on.
Because you're there to elevate people. You're not there to belittle people as a leader. That's what good leaders do. Behind closed doors, you can have a word with him. But what I think is happening with Palmer is Palmer's putting everything on his shoulders. And when he messes up, it's fine. When others mess up, he allows. I don't know about you guys, but have you not noticed the relationship between him and Pedro Neto? You can see they don't like each other. They do not get along.
Oh, Pedro Neto, yeah.
Yeah, Pedro Neto and him do not like each other. They don't pass to each other unless they have to, unless there's no other choice. It stinks. And I just think he needs to lead by example. Leading by example is not... Javon said, oh, he's disappointed in himself. Be disappointed in yourself quietly, because the minute you do this, an inexperienced manager is being called out. Because what the questions are straight away, how's Rosenior going to deal with this? I actually like that Rosenior took him off. Showed balls. Every now and then, you need to show, I'm the manager. I don't care if you're Cole Palmer. You're not going to be helpful in this situation. Get off. And I think that's important. That's
I agree, man.
Respect to Liam Rosenior, man. There's a lot of people cooking him, calling him a yes man. That wasn't a yes man decision. Well done.
No, you know what, Alexis? If anything, I actually like the way he's talking post-match, pre-match. He's actually saying what we feel. He's actually saying those sort of things. Stuff that he said about an assignment was made for the player, one player to mark, and they didn't do it. I loved the way he said that. Obviously, previous managers, when they call things out, they've been sacked. So but that's a separate story, right? That's our owners, moving mad. But I think so far, Liam Rosenior, he's done all right. Bar a couple of games where against Napoli, he tried something crazy in the first half, but then he rectified himself. Against West Ham as well, tried a weaker side in the first half, then rectified. But bar those ones, Leeds, we were in full control. Burnley, we were in full control. We should not have lost those points. And That's the mad part, and all the commentary that he's made after that. I think it's fine. And you're right. Like the attitude of Cole Palmer, it needs to get better. It does need to get better. We don't need petulance, because all of these things kind of it spreads like a disease in the team, and before you know it, it becomes toxic. And these sort of things, if you're going to be a top player, it needs to change. All right, let's do the super chats. Assad saying Palmer thinks he's bigger than Chelsea. Fix up or go. Look, I've always said where there's a bit of smoke, there's always a bit of fire. So we'll watch this space, what happens in the summer window. I completely don't disregard like all of this stuff with Man United. But then again, I think it's going to cost a lot of money for Man United to do that. And it also depends on whether we get Champions League football or not. If we don't get Champions League football, I honestly can't see how a lot of our key players stick around, because like, how are they going to play Europa League? Like, they're just not going to play that. Crack, thank you, but I have no idea what this means. So I'm not even going to try and say that. Yeah, I'm not sure. Ellie, big up. Our entire starting 11 is still developing bar RJ.
I don't think so.
This is where...
I think Cucurella and Sanchez are what they're going to be. I think, and both are I can't believe I'm going to say this about Sanchez. I think Sanchez is a good goalkeeper. Like, he's really become a good goalkeeper, reliable, which is rare for me to say. Like, I think Fofana is developing still. Matisse was right. I think Caicedo, Enzo, Santos are developing. I think Joao Pedro is close to being what he's going to be in his career.
Yeah.
I think Palmer is as well. Neto is fully developed. I don't see him getting much better than this.
Yeah, he's not going to get any better.
Come on. Neto is whatever you bought.
I think Neto from here on will decline, if anything. Like, he'll have the work rate, but the output will just keep declining even more and more and more, where he just becomes a work rate player after that. In all honesty. 10, thank you. If we F around this summer and United get theirs right, they are ahead of us in terms of progression, and that's embarrassing knowing where they were. 100%. And that,
but at the same time,
not a
though,
reality check. Yeah.
We can't be very... So, like, what fans are doing right now is 2 months ago, people were calling United a hellhole. Yeah? A new manager bounce. Yeah, a new manager bounce. And just look at the results, right? Fulham, 2-2, last-minute Seshko winner. They beat Spurs comfortably. West Ham, last-minute Seshko equalizer. Yesterday, anyone that watched that game knows...
I'll watch it.
United
they didn't play that well.
But they beat City. But they beat City and they beat Arsenal. Something we haven't done in a while.
But they always beat City and they always beat in Arsenal. They always turn, even under Ruben, they turn up in those games, even under Oli, because it suits them to play in that way. These teams that are going to start respecting them, like Everton did in the first half, they will struggle. They were terrible in that first half.
Yeah, but
that is a good point.
But at the end of the day, Alexis, and I'm just addressing the current point, they won those games and we didn't.
Yeah, that's but fine. We won. But okay, by the same token of the argument, we won 4 in a row and dropped 2. So then if we go and win the next 3, what? All of a sudden, we're a good team. Like, we can't have analysis in small sample sizes. And that's results-based analysis.
No, you're right, Alexis. I think what is the key factor here is if they do end up getting Champions League football, it just
agreed.
They're financially a lot more equipped. Like, this is Manchester United. They make a lot of revenue. We don't make that type of revenue. They have a lot more firepower out there to buy who they want, and it seems like players are generally attracted to them. Do you know what I mean? Like, players want to go there. They want to play there because it's Manchester United. That could end up being a bit of a problem once they make Champions, because then we're going to be fighting for similar type of player. Like, say for instance, we are fighting for similar type of players. They might opt to go to Man United instead because they have
spending the money on the salary bags.
Yeah, but also they're in Champions League and we might not be. Do you know what I mean? So that's a huge factor.
Yeah.
Sean, big up. We're not far away, but we are because they won't do it. Yep, absolutely agreed. I think we've all said that. Harry, big up. Colwell for me will be key to getting Chelsea back. This is one. I do need to say one thing. Look, as well as Colwell finished last season off. Let's not forget what Colwell was doing for the first 2/3 of that season. There was
Not only
moments
that,
where
not because
yeah, go on.
not
Go on,
not
go
only
on.
that, not because he's our best defender doesn't mean he's a world-class defender. Please, people.
He's still developing. He's
still
developing.
I think
developing
it's
as well.
Ballon d'Or Colwell, the way people are talking
Yeah.
about him at the moment.
People like I miss Colwell. I think he was turning out to be a very, very good defender and a leader, but he's still got a lot of development to go through. And on top of that, what is it? ACL injury, right? Or is it Achilles? What was it?
ACL.
ACL, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I know I've seen Ruben Loftus-Cheek straight up after an ACL injury.
Not the
It took
same.
him years. It took him years to come back to some form of Ruben that we saw under
AC Milan.
Maurizio Sarri, when he was linking up with Eden Hazard and he was having that breakthrough season.
It usually takes 9 to 12 months for the player to return to where they were, like physically.
And
that's
Alexis,
played.
And that's an
9 to
entire
12
season,
months.
people.
Yeah.
And that's the entire. And Alexis, 9 to 12 months in football. That's a long time, bro. That's a very, very long time. What is that?
Sorry, that's
That's
my
on me.
Alexa. That's my Alexa.
I said Alexis, not Alexa. But yeah, like 9 to 12 months is a long, long time in football, and so much can change during that time frame. Asad, big up again. Y'all hated Jackson so much, though Dilap was good. Asad,
Not
enough
me,
with that,
brother.
bro.
Not me.
None of us hated him. We all knew his
We just
positives.
knew his
but
limitations.
we knew his limitations. We knew his limitation, and there was definitely some temperament issue as well. He had a temperamental issue, like something wasn't clocking at times. Like his attitude was off at times. Felix, big up. Please don't realize what doom awaits without UCL. Look, we got Arsenal coming up next. You drop points there, even a draw, let's say. It just puts more pressure on the consequent fixtures that are coming up, and nothing is easy from here on in. When you squandered the chances against Leeds and Burnley, yeah, now we're in trouble. All right, lads, big up to you guys. Thank you to all the panelists that joined in, and to the live chat. Thank you so much. Make sure you guys smash up the like button, hype, subscribe to Javon's channel, subscribe to Alexis' channel as well. Links are in the description. Each and every one of you guys, give the love to all of us. Every single one of us, we have milestones to hit, and without you guys, honestly, we are absolutely nothing. So that's all I'll say. Hope you all have enjoyed this. Until next time, take care. See ya. Bye.
Peace.